You just discovered what it takes to become a legend. Grab your eye. Let's mobilize.
How's it going, everyone? It's Handless TML back with another Cyberpunk 2077 video, and in today's video we're back at Konpeki Plaza, and rather than using mods to scale it, I'm actually going to be showing you a combination of glitches and cut content that you can use to scale Konpeki Plaza and get anything you may have missed in there. So it's pretty easy to get here. Most people should already know where it's at. But what you want to do is get yourself a car, the easiest way to get in, and just park it right here next to the gate. And you want to park it in a way where V doesn't exit the right side of the car. And if you get close enough, you'll actually be able to clip through the wall. And you can use this to clip through a lot of surfaces, actually. You can experiment and see what you can find, ways to get inside of places that you may have not had access to before. But it's pretty useful for things like this. And when you come in, you can call your car back, and we're actually going to use that in a moment, but I'm going to show you two ways to get inside of Konpeki Plaza that I think are pretty simple. This entire right side of the building, or at least the bottom portion of the building where the windows are, you can actually clip through that. All you have to do is make it up there. I'm going to show you how to do that. So first you want to have a sword, any sword, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure it's extended, and you want to withdraw the sword, you want to sheath it, and as soon as you double tap the button to sheath your sword, just press start and go to your inventory, go to any weapon and switch it out with the sword that you're holding, and then switch right back to the sword that you're holding. And as you see, when you do that, you will draw your sword again, but it'll be invisible. And if you tap the attack button, you can actually use it to move forward. I'm not using the control stick at all to move V right now. You can use it in combination with jumps. And you see I can go up a little bit, and it's actually a lot easier with a mouse. I try it with controller and mouse, but I find it much easier with a mouse. You can tap a little bit faster. We're pretty much going to use that to scale this wall and get on the inside of Konpeki Plaza. I'm just going to show you how that's done. And again, I'm just going to show you once more how to do the sword glitch. Just switch it out with any item, and then switch back to the sword. Look in the direction you want to go, and just start tapping the attack button. And it may take you a few tries to get up here because of that ledge sticking out, but if you can get around it, V's actually able to climb it. And once you're up here, you can just go ahead and go through the wall there. And you'll notice this entire side of the wall is actually not solid at all. You can just walk through the entire thing. So now that you know how to do this, there's a lot of cool things that you can do all around the map. And from the inside of Konpeki Plaza, if you come in through this way, you can actually scale it from here. It's a little difficult, it may take some practice, but rather than doing that, I'm going to show you a much easier way to get inside and get upstairs and get whatever you may need. In this particular save file, I forgot to get the Satori blade, which is it's a sword, it's Saburo's sword, and there's also a data pad up there, a personal data pad of Saburo's I just couldn't access anytime that I play through the game. I can never touch it, or I can never pick it up. And so I'm pretty much just going back to get that, because the Satori sword is actually, if I remember correctly, it's one of the most powerful swords in the game. It has a crazy crit damage. So here we go, we're at the door of Konpeki Plaza, and you want to use the car glitch that I just showed you earlier. It's the exact same thing. Now the tricky thing about this is you want to park your car in a way that V clips through the wall, but also gets this gate open, because you need to be able to get out. And if that gate doesn't open, you can clip in without the gate opening, and you'll be stuck inside basically. So now that we're in here, I won't be giving too much of a tour. You should already be familiar with the area. I'm just going to show you the exact way to get upstairs and get to the Satori blade. So you'll see these enemies here standing every time you come into this room, but they're not actually alive. Those are just leftovers from the missions that take place here.
Surrender immediately!
A couple of interesting things I actually want to show you in this room is a little bit of cut content that I've covered in a previous video, but I didn't really show a walkthrough of actually attempting to use these during the game, which I'll be showing later in this video. And you'll notice you have a lot of closed doors up here, but this one over here, the first one that I tried to open, you'll notice that I couldn't interact with it at all. All the other doors are fine, but that door right there has its own special properties, and I'll be showing you why in just a moment, and along with this room. So first thing I'll be showing you before that is this room here. And through normal gameplay, you really don't have a reason to come in here because this door is closed, so there's actually no way to get in here other than the way you just saw me going through that door. But again, through normal gameplay, you're not incentivized to come in this room at all. But when you look above this light here, you'll notice there's an open window. And you can jump up here inside. And you can actually make it up to a terrace. It's a pretty fleshed out area, or rather, it's a pretty completed area, save for a couple of spots. Has a ladder here with an exit hatch that if you go down, you'll reach a door that you actually can't unlock, but using mods, I'm going to delete the door. And here we are, we're on the other part of the terrace, or rather another terrace, and you can see that we have doors that we can't interact with at all. We have a good view of Night City. Well, okay view of Night City. We have a view of Night City. And again, I won't be going too much in depth with this area. There's really not much to show up here. You're pretty much going to see the entire thing as I walk through it. You can see some leftover assets are just floating around. And if you go further on down that way, if you manage to get past that block there, there's actually more of those little tiny squares just floating around. So the interesting part is when you go down this hole here, when you go down this shaft, you can actually find a maintenance closet, it appears to be. And you find a lot of items, a lot of useful items that I imagine would be useful during the mission, during the heist. And over here, I know about this. I haven't played Half-Life myself, but apparently this is a reference to that. The cool thing about this room is you see this door here. When you clip through it, because I can't actually open it using mods, I attempted to, you'll notice it brings us to the other side. And it's green because I attempted to make it accessible, but it wouldn't allow me to do that. So you see that it brings you right to the entrance of this area where you would pretty much skip everything that I'm about to go through, or rather you would skip most of the section that I'm about to run through. So to me it's pretty clear that that was supposed to be an alternative path outside of to get out of Konpeki Plaza in a more stealth manner, because at some point it becomes a little bit difficult to do this with stealth. You can do it, but it's not exactly easy. And this area here is actually the balcony that leads to that door I deleted, and this is where that path would start. So all the rooms you just saw me run through, they're usually filled with enemies. And if there was some way to get outside from here, you would skip all of those by going the way that I just showed you. We're going to continue through here. I'm going to show you something else that's pretty interesting about this building. So you want to make your way to this room here, and you may recognize it. when you look at these ceiling here, the glass ceiling, you'll see these squares. And starting from the bottom, you want to count up to the 5th square. It doesn't matter which side, from as far as I can tell. But starting at the 5th square, they're actually not solid. You can clip through those. And using the sword glitch, as you can see, all you have to do is just tap your way to get on up there. And you're actually right under Yorinobu's suite. You can see the area where V and Jackie fell in when they were attacked by the helicopter. And again, just using the sword glitch, you want to continue and you want to make your way up to the ledge right here where Yorinobu's suite is. You'll be able to grab it once you get close enough. As you can see, I'm a little blind. But from here you can enter Yorinobu's suite and just explore around. Anything that you've left up here will still be here. Saburo is still here. And what you're looking for, or rather what I'm looking for, is the Satori blade. So that's actually going to be up here on the roof. As you can see, the enemies are still here because I never came up here. I actually forgot this was here when I was playing through the game again. Interact with them if you want. They're going to notice you if you just go over there and pick up the sword. They'll notice you and start attacking you eventually. We have this Satori blade, and you can check the stats on that. I believe the crit damage is, I want to say it was like 400, 500 something. It's pretty crazy. Now, because I'm really into the lore, this is a bit of lore that I found to be pretty interesting. Because I don't know about everyone else's experience, but anytime I've played through this mission, I always see this datapad sitting on the, within Saburo's AV, but I can never pick it up for some reason. I can pick up the sword, but I can never pick up this. So I'm going to actually show what's in the datapad because I don't know if I'm the only person experiencing. I imagine I'm not the only person that experiences that. And you can slow down the video or pause the video to read through all of it. But it's basically Saburo's diary in the days leading up to him coming back to Night City. And it describes some of his feelings on that. So he talks about some of his feelings on Yorinobu. You know, Yorinobu being kind of like the black sheep of the family. And Hanako, you know, he has a lot of faith in Hanako, basically. He actually seems to trust her judgment almost more so than his own. She's a bit less heavy-handed, but that's something I'll get into later. So what I'm actually showing you, from that point, you can actually just go ahead and go through the path that you left, or that you entered, to escape Konpeki. Here I'm actually with Jackie, and I'm just going to show you what happens when you attempt to use that path that I showed you to beat this part of the game, to get through this part of the game. Now when you listen in on these NPCs, you'll actually hear them discuss how the door is locked there, which is pretty interesting. I never noticed that, they'll never do this in stealth. I waited around to see if maybe he would do something to the door, see if maybe the Netrunner would actually be able to fix the door, but it didn't seem so, so I went ahead and took him out. I was trying to give a little bit creative. In my desperation to find some depth in this part of the game, I took him to the door and thought maybe I don't know, maybe somehow something would force the door to open, but no, it didn't seem to work out for me. So I eventually just used mods and clipped my way through the door. And as you can see, it's the same door that I deleted earlier, and you'll see me turn back a couple of times because I'm actually trying to see if Jackie will follow me, which he never seems to do until I get too far away. He just spawns wherever I am. And again, what I'm going to attempt to do is complete this quest with just using this path and seeing if it's possible, seeing if maybe Jackie will say something extra, see if we can find any more leftover content that, you know, it could have been part of this mission. And as you're going through here, you can kind of see some of the reasons why it may have been cut. It's not completely finished. You can see the rain just kind of falling through the interior there. And Jackie's finally caught up. And that's the room that we can jump down to. That will actually take us straight to the elevator. But I'm going to attempt to go through the maintenance closet. When I went through that way, I reloaded the save and went through that way. Nothing happened, and it gave me the same result that you're about to see from going through the maintenance closet. And again, I was waiting to see if Jackie would maybe climb through here. Maybe they had an animation for that, but it didn't seem so. And I went back up here to see if he was even following me around, but he just kind of stops there. So, and as you can see, he'll come around eventually. I had to kind of manipulate him to get over there. But when you come through here and back to the maintenance closet, it's kind of funny. He'll just pop up. It was funny because I heard him spawn in and I thought I heard the door open for a moment. And I got really excited because I thought I'd finally figured out how to open up that door. But nope. So we're going to clip through this door again. Jackie should be right behind us in a moment. And you'll hear him, you know, say, okay, that's all of them. But I'm pretty sure he just says that every time you enter this area, no matter what direction you enter from. It's probably a trigger over here.
Throughout Konpeki Plaza.
And when we go to the elevator, you see the quest updates, but there's actually a Arasaka soldier that's supposed to pop up there, but he never does for some reason. Enemies just seem to have stopped spawning pretty much. And the only way I could figure it out was actually going back and all the way to the point where I pretty much went off the beaten path. And the enemies spawned from that point, and then I was able to continue the mission as normal. So that's all I wanted to show everyone today, was just a combination of things that I thought pretty funny or pretty cool about the game. Mostly the sword glitch, because that's something that you can actually use to get into a lot of areas that I have shown throughout the videos. And it's kind of an update to my last video on that. So as usual, thanks for watching. Until next time, be safe.